is really an update. An elected official, former elected official, now the former president of City Council for Los Angeles. Well, remember, she was on recording referring to a black child as a monkey. Also said some other things that were adversarial to progress. Well, she's saying that her life has just been ruined because of this, and she never meant to be racist. All right. Let me go to a reminder of her comments. Here it is.
For MLK, for the parade that Herb used to organize, and we all the council who wanted to join Herb on the float, because he used to do a whole float to be nice. Bonnie would be like, "Hey, Nury, are you going to the MLK?" Well, Herb invited me. Yeah, I'll go. Okay, I'm bringing whatever the kid's name is. I'm like, it's like the oddest thing. It's like black and brown on this float, and then there's this white guy with this little black kid who's misbehaved. Este niño has they're not doing they're not doing, the kid is bouncing off the effing walls on the float, practically tipping it over. There's nothing you can do to control him. Parece changuito. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Put up the picture full mass. There's an update to this saga. You're looking at Nury Martinez, ex-Los Angeles City Council president, has now broken her silence since audio leaked of her spewing bigoted comments towards a black child. It comes after a year from the time of the infamous tape leak that exposed her talking about her colleague's adopted son, who happens to be a black child. In the secretly recorded audio, she spoke about former councilman Mike Bonin's child's behavior on a float during a Martin Luther King Jr. Day parade. This was in 2017. According to reports, she compared him to a little monkey in Spanish. Council members Kevin De Leon and Jill Cadillo were present during the 2021 private discussion, as well as the former LA County Federation of Labor president, Ron Herrera. Martinez decided to step down from her position days later amid the public outrage and protest. All right, we covered it extensively on Indisputable. During a recent podcast interview, she said, and I quote, "The way I grew up with that word," and I'm not going to repeat it, "it has nothing to do with skin color, has more to do with behavior." You're sort of saying playing around. You're horsing around. Another word that we use in Spanish, which is for mischievous. You can't stay put, Martinez told the LAist. It's a conversation I should not have repeated. And I think that's an example of a bunch of moms sitting around, being critical of little boys' behavior. That was my mistake. Okay. Now, there's more to this, but I just have to point out, at this point, she sounds like, when a bigot says the N-word, and then they say, no, that's not racist. That just means ignorant. That's what this is akin to. Okay? You got me? All right, let's continue. She says, "It was insensitive. It was mean. I never meant to hurt Jacob. And I'm going to have to live with that for the rest of my life. I never meant to hurt Jacob. I thought about this 100 times of what I would say to him if I would see him." She explained how she would tell Jacob that she didn't intend to hurt him and that her mother called her that term in her childhood. You see how many I's are located in her explanation? I. Speaking to the LAist, Martinez said that her life has not been the same since the audio has been brought to light. She explained how she is having now financial hardships because her husband is also out of work. How she would go to church to get out of the house and how the situation impacted her emotionally. I mean, goodness, guys. Can we just give her a chance to go back into public office and literally be biased and racist and bigoted and act as if she gives a damn about the black and brown coalition while continuing to communicate in ways that are adversarial to the very progress of black people? Now, remember, this story has a lot to do with, obviously, the comment against the child, but the full context of those recordings showed how antithetical she was to the black community. I don't know what's next, but I do believe this too shall pass. It already has, ma'am. But I just got to be honest. What this has done to me and my family has completely destroyed us. I don't know what's next. I know this took my passion and my light. I don't know how to describe it in any other way besides I'm lost. You are. That's the first authentic thing you said during that damn podcast. Ma'am, you are lost as hell. Okay? You talked about among your colleagues making decisions against black communities, coordinating, plotting, while pretending you were part of the black and brown coalition. Madam, please. So while many people may remember what you said about Jacob, and that was horrible too, I also remember what you and some of your colleagues said about voting against black people and how black people get everything, while you just had a rally for the black and brown coalition in LA. The reason why individuals like you harm the movement is because it gives energy to those who dissuade from us having coalitions together. Because they will sit back and say, you see, I told you, look at that. She doesn't care about black people. Why are you coordinating efforts with people who don't care about you? She may not care, but a whole lot of folks do. Let's put them up. So meanwhile, Kevin De Leon and Bill Cadillo are suing. What are they suing over? They're suing over the secret recording, the leaking of the audio. Kevin De Leon, the only one involved in the discussion, who refused to leave his position and is currently up for re-election. The suit filed by Gil Cadillo, who is seeking punitive damages, general damages, and obviously compensation, states that his only regret was staying silent while his colleagues casually disparaged black people. But it also states that nuance was ignored, context was hijacked, and a frenzy was manufactured. I don't think there's any manufacturing here. I do concur with you that being silent is being complicit. I agree. And let this be a lesson to everyone involved. It sounds as if the former councilwoman did not learn anything other than how to create narratives where she becomes the victim after literally victimizing a child and then agreeing to engage in legislative dynamics that were adverse to communities that she said she was down with. This is corruption. Why would you lie to a whole group? My opinion of this stands. All right, Jackson, thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, she, and I looked it up, she's 50 now. And I'm just saying that to say she's more than old enough to realize that there's certain things that you do and don't talk about, especially when you're with colleagues or in any type of work situation. So like, she could have gotten away with this. She could have gotten away with everything and she just wouldn't have talked about that. Because it's kind of akin to being in a workspace or an office space and just, saying like really misogynist things about women and thinking it won't get back or something along those lines. It's just unprofessional.
Yep.
But even more than that, she's in a public office. She's not some celebrity, and she's not 23. So it's not like, oh, I'm young and I just said something stupid. I'm sorry. She's very grown and she's in a position where, as you pointed out, her decisions impact people's lives. So like, it's too risky of a game that's not worth your career more so than somebody else just being in that position who people can trust. which again, you pointed out the I, me. No, you're supposed to be a statesman, stateswoman, but clearly you're just worried about your career. So
there it is. And I have a feeling that there will be an update.